What's up, YouTube? It seems like people do this thing where they watch my videos and then either don't like or subscribe. So if you could hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified, and like the video, it really does help out a lot. Hope you enjoy the content I have for you. Yeah, let's get into it. So, somebody had posted, this is the post-Trump effect, a wave of total assholes running for all levels of office across this country. As much as I want to say called it, it's this is the ripple effect that I was afraid of. And this is what I knew was going to happen once people didn't understand what other people were saying when we said, wow, racists feel more emboldened. Wow, people feel more braver to say dumb shit out their mouth because it's my freedom of speech and blah, blah, blah. There's a whole realm of like the deepest things that we could talk about when it comes to situations like these. I want to take this one and extrapolate that just so you understand like the fear that I have about the future of politics and or local offices. Because this guy is running for a school board. Now, you hear school board and you're like, well, that doesn't have a lot of like touch or effect. Okay, if you live in New York City, a bunch of your politicians that you've probably written into or seen on television started at school board positions. So, no. So, no. No, not at all can we just ignore or think that this shit is an anomaly. This is huge. This is huge stuff because it starts so low that you don't notice it and then it grows into a Trump-like behavior and you're like, well, how could we have ever stopped this from happening? Well, you could have paid attention. But then again, I'm asking like everybody to pay attention and that's just never going to happen. Anyway, candidate for Great Valley School Board Region 1. First, I want you to look at that motherfucker's face. Like, just I almost want to jump into an entire thing about white privilege and how people don't understand it. Like, I already did a thing about Aizen's, about the comparison between white supremacy and Aizen Solskjaer. So we're not going to do that right now. This is his flyer. This is his summary of why he should be voted in. Need to safeguard our children. Critical race theory is ascending, and we have to make sure that it doesn't find its way into our classrooms. We have to make it clear that indoctrinating our kids into believing that everyone is a racist and that a person's race is the determining factor in how they behave and how much they can achieve is not acceptable. I almost wish he sees this, because I want to point out to him how dumb that is. But let's break it down, because that's what we do. We need to prove to people that the shit that they're hearing is like a way to instill fear, but I don't want to call it fear mongering because it's like the majority of people I don't think fall for this shit, but it's like there's a minority of people that do just enough with this that like it's gonna become a problem. All right. Critical race theory is ascending and we have to assure that it doesn't find its way into our classrooms. First of all, critical race theory is not falling into like any type of situation or classroom in which the children, you so quote, are going to learn about it before like the age of like 12. You have to, I am not teaching critical race theory to kindergartners. Like, I need that to be a stamp of approval on this coming from me. Like we're gonna give the critical race theory the stamp of approval from a random black guy in Harlem. Okay, we're gonna do that because to lead to his second point, we have to make it clear that indoctrinating our kids into believing that everyone is a racist. Stop there. Indoctrinating our kids. Okay, what the hell do you call making literal grade school children, i.e., not only kindergartners, but all the way up to, at least in my case, 6th grade, recite the Pledge of Allegiance every single morning? What the hell? Like, what's the difference between that and China, like, doing something along the lines of, I don't know, making them repeat the Chinese anthem the anthem of China? Like, what's the difference between that and North Korea making them salute their leader and like praise their leader all the time? Like, do you see what I'm talking about? Now, you might say the difference is that we're pledging our allegiance to the country and not a specific leader within the country. To which then I'm going to reply to you with, what are you, fucking stupid? What are you, dumb here? Look at that. This bothers me so much that I haven't screamed once about this. You see what I'm talking about? Like this is how you know like I'm geared to like not care about this, but I need it to be something that people pay attention to. Indoctrinating our kids, so that's already off the table because we literally rewrote history to paint the bombs that we dropped in Japan as like good things that needed to happen to end the war. Whether it actually did or not is not the question. We kind of just said celebrate and then like dropped it. Like history literally goes from World War II to the end of slavery to the progressive era. Like what the fuck? Okay. So indoctrination is already happening, but like as white people are the saviors of the planet and like we should really be proud to be an American. Just saying that is indoctrination. So I don't know where you're coming through with this. All right. Into believing that everyone is a racist. Okay. I'm going to do the both sides argument here just for the sake of doing the both sides argument. Critical race theory does not at all state that everyone is a racist. It makes us view the world or the American world in a lens that is not whitewashed. Simple as that. It's that easy. Okay, critical race theory says, why don't black people own homes or have more property or equity in property than their white counterparts? Oh, because of a long laundry list of things that stop them from being able to own homes, whether it be economic strategies, whether it be social strategies. Like, we don't teach that. So people leave school not thinking about that at all. So when they try to succeed and do that same thing and they are denied for reasons outside of their control, they don't sit there and spiral and think it's their fault. There are systems in place that make it harder for you to do those things. Let's analyze those systems. And sadly, when you analyze those systems, you generally see that those systems were geared towards white people. That's just a fact of life. That don't mean I hate white people. Like, there's not, well, that's a fucking lie. I was going to say there's not one white person that I hate on this planet. Like, for the sake of them being white, I don't hate any white. I have white friends. Like, what the fuck? That's not the point. The point is that critical race theory is saying out loud, is there a possibility that maybe we founded this country on beliefs and a system set up that actually excluded a majority of the rest of the world and just said the white guys or the I don't want to be funny because I'm gonna like quote Christopher Columbus here, and when I say quote him, I mean just mention him. Like the Spaniards, the Anglo-Saxon whites, the Europeans that like colonized the 13 colonies. It's so lost on me how no one gets that, even though the thing that we think about before the American Revolution was the fact that 13 colonies rose up to fight the British government. Like, come, they teach you that, and you can, oh, colonizer, oh, I get it now. Like, no, it's still people are like, oh, it's just the way it was back then. Like dick. Anyway, I'm going way too hard on that. But let's take the other side of the argument. Does critical race theory, in fact, have a certain target on white people? Yes. Oh, here come the bad takes. How dare you say that? You just made a case that critical race theory doesn't do that. So how can you play the both sides card? Because the other side is fucking stupid, but at least I have to acknowledge it in order to walk us back to getting on one path of understanding. Does it paint a target on white people's backs? In theory, sorta, kinda. But that's only because of what I just said about the fact that the country was built on the ideology of targeting white people for good things while excluding other people for the same good things. Has it gotten better since we fucking started the country? 110%. But that's also kind of due to the fact that more people live here now. Therefore, it's really hard to pull off a complete 50-state wipe of like all black people can't go outside past 9 o'clock without like a massive group of people like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Hello? but we still have sundown towns. So while it got better, we never eliminated it. And I think that's one of the more like things that people who don't like critical race theory are like attacking it for, is the fact that it might give rise to the thought that we never got rid of it. We just reinvented and renamed reconfigured the systems to be subtle. It naturally happens. And then you get onto the whole black conservative personal responsibility thing. That's why I don't get black conservatives, because you keep saying personal responsibility, but there has to be a point where all the systems, and I physically mean this, right now the scale is like where the system will not let this come into contact. This hand is the black people, this hand is the system. In order for us to be here, meet together, I'm doing this on a scale. It's like the surface of this is so eroded that like we can't. It just doesn't slide up. Does that make sense? You can touch it. Some people can get their finger on it, but the majority just it doesn't work. And I'm literally forcing my finger into my palm to make this point. It's too hard. To make it softer, you do have to analyze every single, and I mean every single system you have in place. There is a reason why it is quicker to buy a car than it is to apply for food stamps. See what I mean? Now, you would say those two are vastly different things. Okay, apply all of it then. Why is it so simple to do certain things for certain people, and it's such a headache to do certain things for other people? Imagine you could get in and out of an HRA office within 10 minutes. This shit would be, okay, it's just another thing I gotta do. I can move on with my day. Most people take days off of work because they don't know how long it's gonna take. Now, have they improved? In my neighborhood, yes. Can I say that for the rest of the fucking country? Absolutely not. So I have to run on the assumption that there are still states lagging behind and even updating their technology. Why are they waiting to update their technology if the funds are there? Oh, yeah, because it's a sector that doesn't demand upgrades. Why? Because it services poor people who happen to be what? Generally minorities. So why is it that the system generally favors not upgrading things to modern tech for minorities? Oh yeah, because we still live in a society in which we don't critically analyze why we have certain systems set up for certain races. So why not create a theory, a factual based look and analyzed conversation about races in America? What would we call that? Chat, what would we call that? I don't know. I don't even have notes to check. We'll figure that out one day. Anyway. Anyway, okay. So I went way deeper into that than I expected to, but fuck it. This is a discussion on critical race theory now. That everyone is a racist, so I've eliminated that. Are we clear on that? The other point I was gonna make on this is everyone is a racist? You mean including black people? So if we're all racist, we're all not racist, so therefore you're really bitching about nothing? See, it's like you typed the words, had it approved, and you didn't even think about that. Like the logic of your own sentence doesn't make sense. Anyway, everyone means white people. That's a code. That's easy to figure out. I'm not even going to go into that. And that a person's race is a determining factor in how they behave and how much they can achieve is not acceptable. Critical race theory does not analyze that at all. Does not analyze that at all. A person's race is one of the determining factors due to the fact that there are still racist people out there. If you just ignore that and say that critical race theory is the one pushing that theory, I would like to revert you back to my T-Pain video. People on COD in 2021 still saying fuck Black Lives Matter. Still people out there say fuck Black Lives Matter. So therefore, you must be full of shit one way or another. Like, I don't get it. So that's not true, quite literally, because we still live in a society in which that still happens. So fuck you for that one. And how much they can achieve is not acceptable. I already went over that. I'm not going to do that. Anyway, Next point. Hard work wins. Success is best found through hard work, and the same goes for education. That is the president of the United States is a literal example. Not this one, the last one. He's literally the example of that not being true. Half of the GOP that exist and say shit out their mouths a day after in the same hour I read this. Oh, fuck off. There are people with high school degrees that are making laws for the fucking country. So no, hard work is not. Increasing teacher salaries and spending money on more buildings and the newest textbook doesn't translate into better results for our children. The crack epidemic, the crack era of 1974 to 1983 just literally wants to scream at you. How many people I know in my chat right now went to high school or middle school or fucking elementary school and the books you had was like half torn? You know them shits with the gray edges and the hardcover book was like half ripped out and shit. Fuck off. Excuse me. So increasing teacher salaries would stop teachers needing to worry about paying out of pocket for dumb shit that their kids. Oh, I have a hiccup. I'm gonna finish this segment and then go get some water. Increasing teacher salaries and spending money on more buildings and doesn't translate into better results for our children. That's stupid because then property taxes wouldn't be a part of the thing that he's about to mention later. Instead, we have to focus on making our classroom environment safe, which could be done by increasing teacher salaries and spending money on more buildings and the newest textbooks. Supportive environments where the children are engaged, which could be done by increasing teacher salaries and spending more money on buildings and the newest textbook. And know that their success matters, which could be done by you get where the point I'm going at with? His priority, stop critical race theory. This teaches our children a lie. The country is not systemically racist and anything teaches our children this has to be rooted out. Okay, I'm going to really work with you here. I'm going to really level with you here. If the country is not systemically racist, do you mean now or in the past? Because if you mean now, then we absolutely could teach children about the past, which is what critical race theory, is. Damn, it's getting bad. Gotta finish the segment though. Sorry, YouTube. I know you've been watching for a hot minute. I apologize. Halt the raising of property taxes. Higher taxes penalize the entire community, including parents facing higher costs in raising kids and higher college costs, as well as those on fixed incomes. We need to prioritize where our money goes and stop unnecessary spending. More money does not result in a better education, and better education should be our focus. It's bullshit because your entire facade is like a GOP literally summoned, echoed thing, and the entire idea of not raising property taxes is why schools are underfunded, and therefore the education suffers as a result, and that can literally be seen in any. Jesus Christ, it's starting to hurt now, but I'm gonna push through it. I'm like, yo, if you on YouTube and you made it to the 18-minute mark, I'm pushing through this for you, baby. This one's for you. Drop a comment drop a comment below saying that you appreciate me for what I'm going through. Stop Common Core education. Common Core curriculum takes control away from our school district. We have to maintain control over what we teach our kids. That shit is based. He shouldn't have said that because that actually makes him sound cool. Prepare our students for trade schools. That's a great idea. So I don't know how you got from there to there. So no biological males on female sports teams. Look, we could spend all day right now talking about how dumb that statement is, but you know, gotta go drink water. So I'm going to eat this into one sentence. Why are you Hold on. Great ending. Oh, you can even see the sweat on my fucking forehead. Okay, final point here. Why are you specifying no biological males and not no biological females? That's how I know it's a transphobic remark and not a literal remark about anything other than like actually caring, because you're specifying one group and not even covering the entire spectrum. You're an asshole. I'm not suggesting you email him to tell him your thoughts, but his email's there if you want to check it out. Maybe you could say, oh, Jesus, say something to him to make him feel a certain type of way. See you in the next one.